With a first from Jimmy the Baker. Never before has he done this. A brand new dessert, 6 years in the making. His New York City colossal cookies, something you'll only find at QVC. He labored, and I mean labored, over this recipe to get it right for this size. We have 2 different flavors, chocolate chip or butterscotch. Of course, if you can't make up your mind, we'll do a combo and we can give you a dozen or we can give you 2 dozen. They're individually wrapped, easy to share. It's just a big old token of love and appreciation for your friends, your family, your teachers, your stylist, anybody who helps you out in life. And don't forget, it's Jimmy the Baker, so they're made from scratch and they're packed with the highest quality ingredients. We have them for you for 5 easy payments. Depending on your choice, you'll get them home for either an easy pay of $6.20 or $10. We'll show you the choices, but let me introduce you to our big deal, Jimmy the Baker. You know, he grew up on Long Island in New York, watched his mother cook food and show and express her love through food.
That's right.
And after a few years on Wall Street, he had enough of that. He was like, what can I do? And he wanted to show his love of baked good and baking. And so he started his own company, and he's been going strong ever since. So good to have you, my friend.
My sweet. How are you?
But this is a first, brand new dessert from you.
And there's a reason this took so long to get here, because I went back to my notes, 2014, when I wanted to come out with a really good cookie, and I had a goal after talking to lots of customers. Some people like crispy, some people like chewy. It's as divided as we are in Republican and Democrat. I can't tell you who likes who, or who likes what, rather, I should say, but still, I wanted to thread the needle. As a centrist myself, I wanted to
bring everybody together.
Let's world peace and harmony through chocolate chip cookies. Now, there's a reason this cookie is almost 5 ounces. This is over a quarter pound, because I tried all different textures. We're going to go through what's in the cookie, why it's in the cookie, and how I made it, and why it took years of trials, errors, and finally just giving up for months at a time, getting so frustrated because I couldn't get what I wanted. Okay, I wanted a thick biscuity cookie with a chewy interior and crispy outside, and I wanted it to look rustic for a couple of reasons, okay? And there's a way we get that, but let's talk about what's in the cookie. In the cookie, of course, starts with butter and white sugar and brown sugar, just like you would expect in a chocolate chip cookie. But what I found was using 100% butter, dried it out. It didn't last.
Huh?
But all butter is good out of the oven. But after a couple of days, it doesn't seem to hold up. And I went back to the recipe books, and I found that old-time bakers used to use shortening. So I cut a little bit of the butter with the shortening. So that's why I got this beefy, thick cookie that doesn't spread wafer thin. Then we went through all different trials between brown sugar and white sugar, dark brown sugar, not so dark brown sugar, et cetera, et cetera. Many combinations. We wanted to keep the cookie thick. This cookie is almost a full inch thick, and sometimes it's even thicker than that. Lastly, we loaded it with chips. Now, it's important to note, these are real chocolate chips. I'm going to show you these chocolate chips, okay? I did not use chunks. Why? Because as a professional, I have this thing about chunks. I think people who put chunks in their cookies are trying to hide the cookie. A chunk hides mistakes. The cookie should be able to stand on its own. Then the choice of the chocolate chip, I didn't want too sweet, so I have a semi-sweet chocolate chip, nice and big, by the way, and plenty of them. It's not that you're going to get a chocolate chip in every bite. You're going to get a lot of chocolate chips in every bite. Because the other thing about this cookie, it's got to stand up to milk. We forgot ourselves there for a while. Now, I put that one in the microwave.
Oh, I can tell. Nice and warm.
So, we're going to talk about how to eat the cookie and the great debate that I started here at QVC. I eat cookies cold out of the refrigerator. I'm telling you, when you get this cookie, they ship to you ambient, not on dry ice. They're going to arrive to you. You want to put them right in either the refrigerator or the freezer. You want to eat them slightly chilled. That's how I like to eat them. Some of the tasters who tried this before we went on air with it said you really should heat these up. I don't eat hot any baked goods. I think baked goods taste better on the cool side. That's just me.
Interesting.
Just me.
But this
you got a warm
chocolate
gooey?
chip.
You doing okay over there?
First of all, you're right. Such a thin, crispy layer on the outside. But look at do you see?
Get out of there, man.
Look at that chocolate just oozing out because it's so moist, and it's big and it's chunky and it eats like a meal. It's perfect for sharing. Look at this, all this chocolate. Look at that. Real chocolate chips, real butter, real brown sugar, real white sugar and egg, just like you would make at home, but you don't have to do any of the work. Let me quick show everybody the choices, and then we're gonna try the butterscotch, because word on the street is it's more popular and out-favored than the chocolate chip, which is hard to believe. So here's your chocolate chip. Now you can get 1 dozen or you can get 2 dozen. Remember, all individually wrapped, so great for sharing, great for gifting for Valentine's Day, and they will arrive to your home for Valentine's Day with a credit card order. Your choice, 1 dozen or 2 dozen. Then there's the butterscotch, which we're gonna learn there's 2 different types of chips in this, not just butterscotch, but a white chocolate. 1 dozen or 2 dozen. Now, if you can't make up your mind, you can do a combo. If you do a combo in the dozen, you'll get 6 of each. If you do a combo in the 2 dozen, you'll get 12 of each. And here's what you do, because it's a big deal. A big deal is our star product of the day, something we think you're gonna love, something we want you to have. So what we do is we bring the price down, and we did.
Man.
But it's only for the big deal. Once the big deal's gone, price goes back up. And in this case, the 5 Easy Pay, well, that goes away too. So you lock in with auto delivery. It guarantees the break in price. It guarantees our 5 easy payments. And then every 90 days for a year, a new batch is shipped to your door without you having to lift a finger. You can cancel anytime, but we're committed to this price and this easy pay and this offer, because again, a big deal only lasts for so long. Butterscotch.
Man.
It is now the talk of the town.
So, I originally got the idea to make I was going to make just a plain old sugar cookie. White sugar cookie. In fact, I found a really good recipe for a sugar cookie that has some cream cheese in it. It really makes a soft cookie. It was missing something. So the first thing I did was I took a sugar cookie and I took out some white sugar and I put in some brown sugar. And I was looking to get kind of caramelly notes. Then I came across butterscotch chips and vanilla chips. Now, I should divert just for a second, because look at the texture of the cookie. That cookie has got those peaks and valleys, nooks and crannies, whatever you want to call them, because when we're making these cookies, when that dough is coming off the machine, the dough, it gives us a nice, let's call it kind of a hockey puck type piece of dough, perfectly cylindrical. If I put that in the oven, you're going to get a nice, smooth looking commercial cookie. My staff, I call them my cookie artists, they physically pick up the dough, they pull it apart, and they mess it up intentionally to make it look rough. Not only because I want it to look rustic and homemade, but I want the outer edge of these cookies and also the top of the cookie to bake crispy. By getting a rough edge, just like if you took a fork and you spooned out your cookie with a fork, if those of you who've made chocolate chip cookies at home, you get kind of a rough, far side of the moon-like texture with the peaks and valleys, but those peaks are what's crispy. You see them darker because the brown sugar is caramelizing. Now, another reason why this took so many years was because I wanted a thick biscuity cookie, but when we put these butterscotch chips in it, every time we scaled up, meaning we made like big batches of hundreds of pounds, the cookie would bake really, really flat. Now, by the way, you want to dunk that in coffee?
I just did.
I'm telling you. It's the butterscotch in the coffee, before I finish how we make it. The butterscotch in the coffee, what I love about it is you have coffee plus the caramel, plus the butterscotch, plus the vanilla. Yeah, dunk that chocolate chip in the milk, but dunk the butterscotch cookie in coffee. Now, it is almost a 5-ounce cookie. You probably eat a little piece at a time, but dare you dunk this? See what's happening to Stacy? She's going to keep going, man. And I've got to pull that cookie out. She's going to eat that whole cookie. You could do it.
I honestly forgot that we're sitting here on TV with a national audience. I didn't hear a word you were saying, because this is unbelievable. I've never had a cookie that was so buttery, so perfectly creamy when you dunk it into the coffee, and it just starts melting away in your mouth, that butterscotch. is just so smooth. And is it white vanilla chips?
It's vanilla chip.
Vanilla chip, yes.
Do you know something? There's really no such thing as white chocolate.
I didn't think so.
There's
Yeah.
really no such thing as that. So it's a vanilla chip and the butterscotch chip. The butterscotch is very strong. And in fact, what I think I was telling you earlier was that during the trials, during 2014, 2016, it's funny because my notes, when I get to a point, I put all exclamation points. That means I've had enough. I can't get it, move on. Then I would go back to it in another 6 months and I would try again. The butterscotch was most frustrating because that butterscotch chip, what was happening, and it was just a chance day, Saturday afternoon, I decided to go in. The butterscotch cookies were cooling by the window and the sunlight was hitting it and I saw that the butterscotch chips were melting into the cookie, not like a chocolate chip would, but actually melting and marbling into the cookie. And I was realizing that's what was making the cookie spread. So I adjusted the recipe, started completely all over again. And so the sweetness of the butterscotch seeps into that cookie, seeps into that combination of brown sugar and white sugar. Go ahead.
And it's good that you say that because every time I bit into that butterscotch cookie, I was getting the same flavor. I wasn't getting hit over the head because I got just a butterscotch chip. You know how some cookies, the cookie itself is bland? The only good part is having the morsel. It is. It's such a Debbie Downer. This flavor, especially with that butterscotch, is from tip to tip, from east to west through the center. That chewy, soft center with that crisp outside. It is absolutely unbelievable. If you've ever been skeptical of butterscotch, I'm urging you, try the combo in this because it is out of this world. Chocolate chip, it's a hands down favorite. You know you're gonna love it, especially because Jimmy did it and it's real chocolate chip. But get the combo, trust me, because you've got to experience what good butterscotch cookies can be. Jimmy, after 6 years.
So actually, because again, and trying to come out with a really good chocolate chip cookie, I know I'm competing with memories. Okay, sometimes I could make the best possible crumb cake cinnamon roll, but if your mom made it for you and you have great memories, sometimes I just can't compete. However, so what I wanted to do was, so this time, for the first time, I sent a bunch of cookies out to different one of my favorite QVC customers all over the country, and they pre-tested this. They pre-tasted it before I went on. I really wanted to make sure I got it right, and to my surprise, they kept coming back saying how good the butterscotch was. Some of them said, you know what, I think
I want to be a new emoji. With Jimmy the Baker cookie eyes. That's what I want to be.
Happy cookie eyes.
Huge. You know, if Jimmy was going to do this, he was going to have to do it in a big way.
Right.
And that is why he is our big deal. That is why his newest dessert ever coming home to you, the colossal New York City cookie, is our big deal because it is a star. And if you've got a cookie lover, if that is you, if it's your husband, if it's your kids, your grandkids, if it's your coworkers, and you want to celebrate them and say thank you this Valentine's Day or any day, birthday party, an anniversary celebration, this is what you want to serve. Remember, individually wrapped, but you can get a dozen, you can get 2 dozen, 12 or 24, in the butterscotch, in the chocolate chip, or do a combo. 6 of each in the 12, 12 of each in the 24, but you've got to be on the line now because this big deal started last night. And at 9 o'clock tonight, we kick off a new big deal. When a big deal goes, your savings go, your easy pay. Remember, all of our food, including our baked goods from Jimmy, ship free. So lock in with the auto delivery, get this home, even if you've never tried anything from Jimmy before. You can cancel anytime, but trust me, you won't. He bakes from scratch, fresh, quality ingredients, just like you would at home, but now you don't have to do all the work. You don't have to labor over the recipe because, and any good baker would know this, Marie Louise, you especially, you can have a great recipe for a small cookie, but try to supersize it, that recipe will not work.
It doesn't. It
doesn't translate.
Over there. I didn't realize we had tasters.
Yeah,
Are we dunking? Are we dunking?
Oh, they're dunking in milk. Okay, let's get the verdict in because
so in fairness,
tried and true chocolate chip, but there's this whole talk about this butterscotch. Everybody seems to be loving.
True story. I am one of his taste testers.
That's right.
And he gave me a sealed brown box to take home. And I'm in my car and I get stuck in traffic and I am literally trying to rip this box open with my fingers just to take one little bite. And I got into the butterscotch. I love the butterscotch. I ate the entire cookie on the way home. I loved it, and I am a baker. Why? There's something in these cookies for everything you love about cookies. All right, crispy, tender, soft, chocolate chippy, butterscotchy, melt in your mouth. It's all of the reasons why you want a cookie.